Good morning. Very pink morning. My name is Courtney Custer. My pronoun is she. I'm a longtime member of this church. This morning I'm wearing the pink shirt with the navy blazer and sandals. It will be 100 today. Welcome to First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness. No matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming, we greet you today with love. I'd like to extend a special welcome to everyone who's watching us on YouTube this morning. During the prelude, please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you're joining us from. If you're in Oklahoma City, what neighborhood are you in? And if you're elsewhere, what city are you in? The prelude prepares us for worship.
Something I'm not, but something I am, something I wait for. What was I made something I wait for.
beautiful. Thank you. Now, we light the chalice as a symbol of our sacred time together. The burning chalice represents the light of reason and science, the warmth of loving community, the cleansing heat of justice, and the flame of hope.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Diana Davies. I am happy to be back from vacation. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and for those among us who may be blind or have a visual impairment or are joining us online without video, I am a white woman with silvering hair that today has some pink highlights in it, and I have my Barbie dress on. Let's begin by centering ourselves and grounding ourselves where we sit. Please take a deep breath with me and let it go. We sit on land that was home to Apache, Caddo, Tonkawa, and Wichita peoples long before there was an Oklahoma or a United States. We sit on a land of oaks and gently rolling prairies. Our neighbors are squirrel, raccoon, white-tailed deer, red-tailed hawk. Today, we are especially aware of how big and blue that Oklahoma sky is, how hot the sun is. We're thankful of the way our bodies sweat to try to keep us cool. If you're joining us online from someplace else, or maybe on a different day and time, I invite you to think about what is the history of the place where you sit. Who are your animal and plant neighbors? How does the air feel on your skin? What a blessing it is to be together in these bodies and this place at this time. So much life all around us. So much beauty. Would you please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn? Our hymns are all in the teal softbound hymnal today. It's number 1053, How Could Anyone? Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Tim Atkins. I serve as your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. I am wearing a pink flamingo shirt, rainbow glasses, and a subtle purple feather boa. I believe in subtlety, yes. Oh, and the shoes. Pink shoes for Barbie. All right. So when I was in early elementary school, I think like 7 to 10 years old, I always wanted to play with my sister's Barbie dream house. Now this was during the late 80s, early 90s era. My family wasn't too keen on the boy of the family playing with Barbies. My parents were probably more worried about the whole gender and boys with Barbies brouhaha, whereas my sister was far more concerned I would break something in her dream house. But every so often, my sister would let me into her pink-walled bedroom and let me play Barbies in her Barbie dream house with her. Now, what I loved most about that dream house is that it ended up sort of being a flop house for all the unhoused dolls and action figures around. It was a place where Barbie could hang out with Skipper, who was hanging out with Ken, who was hanging out with a G.I. Joe, who was hanging out with a Transformer, with a dinosaur involved. And usually they were all sitting around a table for tea, being led by my Lieutenant Worf action figure doll. That's right, my Lieutenant Worf action figure doll became one of the most regular visitors to Barbie's dream house. And somehow, no matter what collection of dolls was there, they always ended up having fun. And tea. There was always tea. Now, in a way, First Unitarian is a lot like that Barbie dream house. It's a place where we all go to imagine a different world. It's a place where folks from all walks of life come together to form a community, from G.I. Joes and dinosaurs and Morph dolls to Barbies and Skippers. And it's a place where we just have fun together. And it's a place with, all right, we like coffee better than tea, no metaphor is perfect, all right? So welcome to our dream house here at the First Unitarian Church of Oklahoma City. Let's discover who's in our dream house today that we're building community with. I invite you to spend a couple of minutes greeting your neighbors, preferably someone you didn't come with this morning. And if you bought a Barbie or a doll or something similar, I invite you to make sure you introduce them to your neighbors too. And we'll call you back in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Thank you. And we invite you to continue these conversations and introductions after the service in Daniel Hall, where we'll be having coffee hour, not tea time. My apologies. And now I would like to invite Courtney Custer to give a reflection. Courtney?
My name is Courtney, and I'm wearing pink. This is kind of like the introduction you give at a 12-step program. Because it's kind of a thing to wear pink. It's an outfit color that people make deliberate choices about. And some of you are not wearing pink because you don't own any pink. Pink doesn't have the same power as blue and green and red. And this is especially true if the person wearing the outfit is a baby or a toddler. You might get an edgy parent that puts their baby boy in a pink onesie polo. But can you imagine dressing a baby boy in pink sweatpants or pink socks? Unheard of. Little girls, on the other hand, try finding them something that does not have pink in it. Oh, you want a pink camo shirt for your tough little girl? Well, it's gonna have pink embroidery on it. Girls' pajamas? Yeah, that's gonna have a pink bow. Now, many of you know that pink has not always been associated with girls and women, and that at one point in history, fairly recent history, pink was a masculine color. It was just light red. But when I came of age, pink was a girl's color, loud and clear. So the question for me is, if pink was a girl's color and I was a girl, why did I hate pink so much? Why did I refuse to wear anything pink? Why were none of my folders and binders pink? And when did pink quit becoming just a color and instead become some kind of worldview and identity? Why is Barbie's dream house bright, plastic, in-your-face pink? So I had to walk away from this reflection for a couple days and think about that. Although it has ebbed a bit, for a long time, I had a very visceral reaction to the color pink. And I think one part of it was not wanting to wear pink because people said I should like pink because I was a girl. But maybe the bigger part of it was pink stood for being stereotypical girl. And stereotypical girl was not as good or smart or successful as stereotypical boy. And I was not stereotypical girl. I mean, I wasn't, right? I mean, sure, I did wear a dress if I wanted to look cute, and I did like arts and crafts, and I did paint my nails sometimes. But I was also good at math, and I played basketball in my neighborhood, and I mostly didn't wear any makeup, and I did not like pink. What I didn't like most about pink was the idea that it was the exception. Things in primary colors were for everyone, but things in pink, that's just for girls. I didn't want to be the exception. I wanted to be part of the everyone. Maybe though, before things could be equal, the pendulum had to swing way over to pink. Pink was kind of like affirmative action. We had to turn up the pink because there was such a pink deficit and an absence of women in the main culture. Before it could be normal to think that a woman could be an astronaut, an athlete, or a surgeon, we had to make a big, pink, exaggerated point with astronaut Barbie, Olympic Barbie, and surgeon Barbie. So, I wear pink a little now. I still have a little beef with Barbie though. We've all heard the figures about what Barbie would look like if she were blown up to life size and how unrealistic that is. And this is where Barbie reminds me a little bit of the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. RBG knew that change couldn't happen in one big moment. RBG said, real change, enduring change happens one step at a time. So we couldn't wave a wand and suddenly make a toy that changed everything for girls and women from barbaric to utopian. It had to come one step at a time. And I have faith that more change will come. Barbie will continue to evolve. So when they release average weight Barbie and postpartum no sleep Barbie and professional Barbie that chooses not to wear makeup, I will be in line to buy them and I will be wearing pink.
Thank you, Courtney. Every Sunday we take an offering. Since 2002, all the cash and designated checks from that offering have gone directly to external nonprofit organizations doing good work, our Change for Change partners. For For the month of August, our Change for Change partner is CSU Youth Services. CSU is a low-barrier, identity-affirming space in Oklahoma City where unhoused transition-age youth find the shelter and support they need to pursue the life they want. For those of you who are in the sanctuary with us today, in just a moment, we'll be passing the offering plate. And if you're not able to make a gift today, we invite you to write a little note of encouragement or just hold the plate and give your blessing to our Change for Change partner organization. And if you're watching us online, please make your gift by sending a check to First Unitarian. Just write Change for Change in the memo line, or make an online payment through our website, the number 1uc.org. So I played with Barbies a lot as a kid. And for me, they were neither fashion dolls or things to destroy. I never cut off my Barbie's hair or put on makeup with permanent ink Sharpies. I didn't do it. Now, my Barbies didn't lead idyllic lives, and frankly, they weren't very nice. See, my Barbie playing days coincided with the glory days of gritty TV crime dramas like Kojak and Beretta, and mostly policewomen. So for me, Barbies became vehicles for processing concepts like crime and greed and betrayal and violence. I don't know if there were any police officer Barbies available in those days, but my Barbies primarily worked undercover anyway, so it didn't really matter. Suffice it to say that there was a lot of murder, graft, and intrigue in Barbie land. And the dream house was frequently a crime scene. And Malibu Ken, in particular, often played the role of crime boss. My poor friend Martha, she just wanted to send our Barbies out on nice dates with the Kens. You know, get in the convertible, go to a nice restaurant, maybe go dancing. But there were no happy endings in my basement. Poor bright-eyed Malibu Barbie would inevitably be conned or robbed, or she'd be framed by the malicious skipper. And Christy would turn to Mod Hair Ken and say, "Booker, Dano." Barbie would be led off to the slammer, her straight little arms in those bread bag twist tie handcuffs. So Barbie was made out of plastic, and her hair and her body indeed did represent an impossible ideal. And her many accessories, her dream house, her camper, her airplane, her glitter disco stage, they were all vivid manifestations of wasteful capitalism run amok. But I've never looked back on my Barbie playing days with regret. I'm happy I had a tool for negotiating and processing all the violence and crime and racism and sexism that seemed so much a part of that strange world of adulthood in the late 60s and 70s, at least as it was manifested on TV and primetime shows, and more pointedly, on the evening news. So I was excited to go to the Barbie movie when it came out this summer, because I still have a lot of nostalgia for that little plastic doll. And I expected the movie to be funny, and it is. And I expected it to have some smart, cutting jabs at the patriarchy and capitalism, and it does. What I didn't expect was to find myself sitting in the theater with tears streaming down my face, thinking, yes, that's my theology. That's what I believe God is like. Now, Barbie, many of you may know, was written and directed by a Unitarian Universalist, Greta Gerwig. But somehow, I just didn't expect that the movie would reflect so many Unitarian Universalist themes and messages. So I want to highlight 3 elements of liberal theology in general, and I think Unitarian Universalism in particular, that we can find in this movie. So 1, there is no definitive scripture no single source of truth. 2, each individual is sacred, but salvation comes only in and through community. And 3, we are all in a state of co-creation with life itself. Now, spoiler alert, I can't really talk about the movie without giving away some critical plot points. But on the other hand, Barbie has been discussed so much in social media and articles and social circles among friends and families. I don't think I'm really giving that much away. If you haven't seen it yet, in a nutshell, Barbie lives in a perfect doll world where women can be and do anything they want. They are doctors and judges and astronauts and presidents and mermaids. Kens are more like accessories, taken from Barbie's plastic rib, if you will, to be her companion and really nothing else. Kens don't have jobs, and we're not entirely sure where they live or what they do when the Barbies aren't around, other than beach. Not swimming or surfing, just beach, which is both a vocation and a calling. So anyway, Barbie, not just any Barbie, mind you, but stereotypical Barbie, self-professed, has an existentialist crisis. And so she goes on a journey down the pink brick road to discover what it means to be human, to be real. Now, as Barbie drives her pink convertible toward the real world, and again later as she's returning back to Barbie Land, the song played on the radio is the one you just heard, the Indigo Girls' Closer to Fine. Now that song comes up when Barbie is on a journey, when she is in liminal space at the edge of her comfortable world, which is where learning happens. The lyrics of the song say it all. There's more than one answer to these questions, pointing me in a crooked line. And the less I seek my source for some definitive, the closer I am to fine. There is no single answer to the question of how to be real. There is no single source of truth. Now, Ken insists on coming with Barbie on her journey, apparently because he feels he has no life without her. And in the real world, guess what? He discovers patriarchy. And once he discovers it, it becomes the one lens through which he sees everything. The books he checks out from the library, on trucks and horses, the movies he watches, the images he sees, they all reinforce the idea that life is power. You have it or you don't. It can't be shared. When Ken returns to Barbie Land, he tries to bring the patriarchy with him. This is manifested most clearly in the song that the Kens choose as their anthem, and which of course they sing at the Barbies for hours at a time. It's not Closer to Fine, with its celebration of ambiguity and crooked lines, but it's a song called Push, which is all about binary power struggles. That song suggests that either I take advantage of you or you take advantage of me. Either I push you down or you push me down. If I am right, then you must be wrong. Now, the single lens of patriarchy must ultimately lead to competition and to war, which is exactly what happens. Even if the war takes the form of a dance-off and the weapons are sporting equipment. Barbie takes a different approach. When she's in the real world, she looks around and she sees it all. She sees the sexism, yes, but she also sees the nuances of relationships. She observes people fighting and laughing, playing together, working together, interacting in a myriad complex ways. She encounters dissonance, radically different interpretations of who she is. To some, she is a feminist. To others, she's a fascist. She pays attention to both what is happening around her and inside of her. She holds all of these messy truths at once. In becoming real, Barbie is no longer perfect, but she is fine. The tension between abstract single truth perfection and embodied messy fineness is a major theme in the movie. But so is the tension between commodity and community. In capitalism, commodification happens to objects and beings when they acquire a market value, when they become standardized, undifferentiated, unexceptional. No particular tree, but lumber. Not a pig with his own personality, but pork bellies. Humans can be commodified as well when we are quantified into gradable categories according to our credit scores or our social media status, when our likes and dislikes can be aggregated and sold to marketers. In this sense, Barbie world is just an inverted and exaggerated real world. Barbies are all more or less interchangeable, except for their outer word symbols of their professions. And Kens are all just Ken. Now, the exception is the weird Barbie and all the weird Barbie friends. The one with the face paint and the funky hair because she was played with too hard. The ones who were discontinued because they made people feel uncomfortable. And then there's Alan, the only one of his name, who, let's face it, is most definitely queer. In Barbie Land, it's the weird Barbies who are not commodities, who are not interchangeable. And it's only through becoming weird, someone who thinks about death and has flat feet and cries all the time, that Barbie transitions from being stereotypical to being real. What is a Unitarian Universalist congregation, after all, but a bunch of weird Barbies trying to find our way to being real? Now, of course, the lesson here is that it's not enough just to reject commodification to become an authentic individual. True liberation requires community. When the Kens bring patriarchy to Barbie Land, it's only by working together that the Barbies get their freedom back. And it's when the Kens become competitive and fight against each other that their Kendom crumbles. So again, those two first points, UU values that we see in the movie Barbie. 1, there is no single source of truth, and 2, each individual is sacred. And salvation comes through community. Now, the third point is maybe the most technically theological, because it deals specifically with the nature of God. or the source of love, or mystery, or life with a capital L, whatever you call it. We are all co-creators. At 2 points in the movie, Barbie meets her creator, the real inventor of Barbie dolls, Ruth Handler, who's played by Ruth Perlman. Ruth is most definitely intended to be seen as a God figure for Barbie. When the two touch hands, it is a perfect reflection of Michelangelo's picture of God reaching out to the hand of Adam as seen on the roof of the Sistine Chapel. Barbie even refers to Ruth as her creator, and she asked Ruth to make her real. But for Ruth, Barbie is already real because she is already loved. And in all her weirdness, she's already perfect. Not the abstract perfection of a plastic doll, but perfect as she is in all her weirdness. Maybe perfect isn't the right word. She's already fine. God in this vision is not an omnipotent being who controls what will become of her creation. This God doesn't sit in judgment. This God, or life, or love, simply stands by and watches with eyes of perfect love. When Barbie seems surprised that what and who she will become is up to her, not her creator, Ruth tells her, mothers stand still so their daughters can see how far they've come. I didn't like that line when I first heard it. I don't think it's true of most mothers. At least I hope that it's not. But it might be that it's true of God. Maybe God stands still so that we can grow and change and see how far we've come. And in our changing, we change God as well. We are not the created. We are co-creators with life itself. Can theology be found in a popular culture movie about a mass-produced plastic doll? Yeah, I think it can. Truth and beauty have a way of speaking in the most surprising places. Sometimes in a church, sometimes in a forest, and sometimes in a movie theater with sticky floors and the wafting incense of popcorn. After all, there's more than one answer to the questions. And the more we can find meaning in all parts of life, the closer we are to fine. Would you please join me in a spirit of prayer or meditation? Please take a breath with me. Today we share our joys and our sorrows in the embrace of loving community. We bring sorrow as we continue to watch the news from Mali. We hold in our hearts those who have lost so much, who have lived through trauma unimaginable, and will continue to need healing for a long time. We grieve for land We celebrate at the same time stories coming forth, like the story from Montana, where young people went to court, claiming their right to a healthy planet, and they won. Within our own community, our hearts are with those who are grieving. We think of our beloved Diane Boyles, mourning the loss of her beloved son, Jim. We hold Jean McLaughlin in our hearts. We join her in our sadness as we miss her sweet Dave. Oh, this is a hard time of year for this congregation. The anniversary of so many deaths of beloved ones. Mike, Margaret, and this week, our dear, dear Pat, Mr. Church himself. Our hearts may grow and hold more love, but it doesn't mean we stop hurting and stop missing the people that we lose. We pray today for those among us who are ill. We think of John Yarborough. We think of our dear Ingrid. We pray for those who are recovering, Buzz, Steve. I invite you now to lift up either out loud or in silence the names of those who we should hold today in special love and care. As we grieve, as we mourn with our loved ones, of course we also lift up our joy. So many feel the bittersweet joy at this time of year of seeing their children, their dear ones, moving on in the world. Looking back and seeing how far they've come. We celebrate the lives of these beautiful young souls as they move out into the world. And we hold in their hearts their parents who miss them. For all those returning to school, beginning new stages of their lives, we celebrate you. We join in your happiness and your excitement for what is new and what is to come. Ladies. Please rise in body and spirit for our closing hymn. It's number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul.
Beautiful. We extinguish this chalice flame, but not the light of love and community, which continues to burn in our hearts.
After our service today, all are invited to join us in Daniel Hall. Just go through the doors here, down the hall, and to your right for coffee and for good conversation. And if you are a newcomer, you're relatively new to our congregation, you're welcome to join us. First grab some coffee and a snack, and then join us down in the Eddy room, where we'll be talking more about what this place is and Unitarian Universalism. But now I leave you with this blessing. As you go down your pink brick road to find out what it is to be real, may you remember that you are not alone, that you are part of beloved community. May you be affirmed in your uniqueness, your preciousness, and may you know that you are beautiful, and when you are told you're beautiful, what do you say?
Thank you.
No